Hey all, let's check out some of the updates and new features for the Level Builder and the Facility Designer PCG tools. First up is the new wall decor option. This allows you to spawn one wall decor mesh per wall tile, essentially per single wall piece. The first decor amount option will let you increase or decrease how much is spawned. And by default they won't spawn on ramps or stairs, but you can enable that if you want. Just know that they will be angled with them. The width range option lets you spawn it a little more randomly left to right, or you can zero that out and it'll stay center on each wall point. The height min and max value lets you give it a little randomness vertically. I have this locked to the same height just to keep them about even, but you can vary it as much as you want. The Level Builder version has a lot of the same options as well. And here you can see it, the option to spawn on the front wall as well. You can do that in both. Sometimes it's good to keep that off just to avoid blocking any of the player's view. The next new feature for both tools is this Locations actor. There are a couple examples included in both tools, but you can create your own by right-clicking the base and creating a child and add to it from there. These are meant for more handcrafted kind of points of interest, boss locations, NPC hideouts, markets, and anything that needs a more specific touch. The main feature of this tool is to include these kind of entrance points designated by the arrow there. You can reuse these locations by toggling that wall on and off, or you can spawn a PCG path on those arrows locations and immediately start building your level up from that. The core is pretty simple, but like any other blueprint, you can add just about anything you want to it. This first example has a packed level as the kind of core foundation and decor. Then it also has extra entrances and their walls that can be toggled. If you haven't worked with packed actors before, or level instances and their BPPs, they're really nice, very useful, and extra great for performance. Just the main thing, especially with this use, is make sure you build them the world origin, 00. On one note, don't try to edit the BPP that spawned from the location actor. There's some editor bug where it can usually crash once you save that. It's better to drop the original BPP packed actor into the world, edit that one, and save. One convenient trick too when you're building these out is any of these walls that you want to be toggleable as an entrance, actually build them, place them in this packed actor, and then once you're ready to add it to the blueprint itself for the location, just copy the location from the packed actor's mesh placement into the new blueprint's static mesh placement. It's usually a good idea to set almost everything you can in these blueprints to be static, not use tick either. And then here again are a couple examples and the same kind of features in the Level Builder PCG set. And as another example of what you can do with these locations, I included a functional elevator with facility tools. This just shows you can add pretty much any kind of functionality you want. This example is pretty simple though. I didn't build these walls or this kind of rail to connect them for these purposes. It's just as a quick demo, but hopefully it gives you an idea of what you can do with these. This next new feature is currently only for the facility tool, but it is a stack decor option. This lets you spawn any mix of meshes that you want to include in the mesh set. These try to spawn along the wall as much as they can, but you can block them and change their orientation in a few different ways. They're automatically blocked from spawning on ramps, stairs, in front of doors, or on these single width paths. But you can also use the scatter blocker to make sure any specific areas you need are kept clear. You've got a few options in how they're stacked and controlled, but one important one to note here is this max random rotation. If your meshes are particularly long in one direction more than another, if you push this up too high, you're more likely to get clipping with the meshes, so just keep an eye on that. But this slider, while it looks like it's locked, can actually type in any value you want. So if it's more of a squared or rounded off mesh and you want them to spin completely 360 and randomly, you can do that just by typing it in. This next option, the shared mesh chance, will give you control on how much each kind of group of stacks will either use one single mesh, chosen again randomly from the ones you include, or it will try to mix as many of those as it can, as long as they kind of fit together. Then the jitter decor option is kind of like the other seed values, where it just lets you randomize their placement for both the wall and the stack decor here. One of the new features for the level builder tool that was previously only on the facility tool is this light placement option for doors. It lets you place a light actor above or next to any door actor. You can adjust this value that I'm sliding around here to adjust that placement, and it should show the icon if it doesn't also spawn the light actor. You can set this per door placement, but if you leave this light position value at 0, it just won't spawn anything. This option can get stuck with PCG and sometimes it won't update. But if that happens, you can slide the seed value at the top of the main blueprint. That almost always fixes it, but if not, you can also do the clean and regen option that I've mentioned before. This next new option is also only for the level builder, and it's for its river spline, where you can now spawn a bridge mesh. Unlike a lot of the other options, the bridge mesh here is actually set on the spline tool itself instead of the main PCG blueprint. But you can control its placement by grabbing the box that you see above the spline, and you can scale it, rotate it, however you like. Then once you hit the spawn bridge button, it'll try to snap down to the terrain below, keep it from clipping in or floating too much. Another new option that's brought over from the facility tool is this light flicker. You can up the chance or decrease it to make it so light actors will randomly be flickering, along with a usual disable chance, light color, and all that. This next one isn't a new option, but more of an improvement, in that the medium and tall decor mesh spawns will try to avoid any light actors. So even if you crank up the spawn rate that I'm doing here, I'll always try to leave room so the lights aren't clipping or being completely blocked. This last new feature that we're going over today for the level builder is this path start and end closed option. You can now toggle a wall on either end, as well as extend the kind of the roundedness of those walls if you want to look a little more natural, or if you want something cut off at, say, a cliff's edge. And a good reminder I'm showing here is if your path gets right up to the bounding box for the main PCG tool, you'll see that it just stops spawning walls and floors. And to update that, all you need to do is go back to the main tool and either update bounds or update just about any value. It will automatically update the bounds. Thanks again for checking this out, and as always, if you come across any bugs or have ideas for more features that you want me to add to this, just let me know. Using the email included in the pack is the best way to go, but you can also just leave a comment here on the video.